Hey, what is going on, MLW fans? It is Nickens back with another video for the MLW season. It's going to be our second series of games, like second slate, if you will. It's going to be going over the Eastern Eagles versus the Great Lakes. Alright, this is going to be going over the Eastern Eagles versus the Great Lakes Gators. If you're interested in more content like this, make sure you hit the like, turn those notifications on, and leave a comment. Let me know what else I should do. Got some great things coming up in the future. MLW cards just released, so I'm going to be doing a small opening, a very small opening of those. And that'll be fun, and going to do some other things, some future surprises on the docket, so make sure you stay tuned for those. Anyway, we're going to jump into it, and we're going to be talking about the Eagles versus the Gators. Needless to say, it was not a good series for the Gators at all. They came out very cold in terms of batting, and their pitching could just not handle the offensive strength of the Eagles. The Eagles looked very good this season, and I don't know if the Gators was just not able to overcome that. So game one was a 3-0 shutout by the Eagles. Dan tossed his first shutout of the whole season. Gators got 2 hits on that series. One came from Cheatham, the other came from Jorgensen. Then Zerlag and Reese Harris and Zerlag both had walks. The Gators were just never really super in position to score other than in the first inning. And then after that, it just went downhill from there. Cheatham looked pretty solid on the mound. Didn't look amazing, but he gave up 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and then had 7 Ks. So not a terrible day on the mound. On the other side, Daniel Schultz looked lights out. Only gave up those 2 hits and 3 walks and pitched 8 Ks. Was a strikeout machine today. Dan also had a hit. At Dallas had a hit. Zach had a hit. Landon had a hit. Blade was injured, so he wasn't able to play, but I'm sure he'll be back here in a month's time before the next game. So that'll be good for them. But, man, the Eagles looked really good in this first series, even though they didn't hit a ton. They were not really able to get a lot in their previous series, and, man, they really started clicking on the bats, getting those runs batted in this first game. And then from there, it kind of just went downhill. Jorgensen was pitching against a Dallas Allen who pitched a shutout, a no-hitter. He was 1 walk away from a perfect game. 1 walk away from a perfect game. Had 7 Ks. Meanwhile, Jorgensen on the other end had 7 walks, only 2 hits. Only struck out 4 guys. Had a Duffte pitching. The only walk came from Brendan Zerlag, who had 1 at-bat in the third. The Gators did not do well in the second game at all. And meanwhile, the Eastern Eagles looked really good. Daniel had a home run with 3 RBIs. And then, if we get to the third game, what happens? Once again, Dallas Allen shuts out the Gators. Throws again a no-hitter. Once again, throws a no-hitter to the Gators. So here's the question that comes to the series is, were the Eagles just that good? Or are the Gators really that bad? Now, we know the Gators came out slow last year. They're having a little bit of a slow start. And so I don't want to blame the start specifically just all on, they are this bad, like they're terrible. So, because I don't think that's necessarily true. I think Reese should have probably played in the first series. He had a tough time trying to really adjust to the pitchers, but it wasn't like he was not on par with the rest of his teammates. So I really didn't understand the decision to not bring him in that first series. Unfortunately, he probably needed to be there so he could really see these guys better. The Eagles came out in this series looking really good. I think Zach Whalen in the last game went 3 for 4. I mean, he put contact on the ball every time. He had 4 RBIs. Dallas went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Whalen had 2 home runs. Dallas Allen had a home run. What do you say if you're the Gators? It was just an absolute bulldozing. Eagles have some of the best hitters in the league in comparison to their other years where they were usually last in the NL in terms of batting and offensive metrics. Now this year, they're probably top in the league right now in both pitching and batting. And they have played twice as many games. Gators fan, you're really watching this next series against the Mallards and the D-backs. If the Mallards win this series against the D-backs, the Gators are in a ton of trouble. Because I don't know necessarily if they're going to be able to beat the D-backs in order to salvage the season. Let's look at their remaining games and who are they playing to see if that's possible. Obviously, they just lost to the Eagles. So they have the Mallards and they have the D-backs, both of which are very unlikely to sweep. The D-backs have Norp, who is most likely going to be able to get a game off them. Jordan Robles is looking really, really good at the moment, so I don't see them sweeping them. So who does that leave? It leaves their AL game. They lost to the Preds, so that means their other AL game. And then they play the Western Wildcats as their other game. Right now, in any of those series, is anybody favoring the Gators? Obviously, they're going to be underdogs, but even to win the series, let alone sweep all of those teams, I will say it's not unlikely that they could come back and they could win any of those series, right? But are they going to be able to sweep the Mallards? Are they going to be able to sweep the Diamondbacks? I mean, currently what they're hoping for is that the Midwest Mallards basically have to lose all of their series, or they only win one more of their remaining series, right? Because we know the downtown Diamondbacks are probably going to pick up on some of those games. So unless the Eagles really sweep, win every single the rest of their games, the Gators are going to have to pick up wins in those columns. Otherwise, if they lose one more remaining series, the best record that they could have, assuming no sweeps, the best record that they could have is 5-10. Which I don't think any 5-10 team has ever made the playoffs. 7-6 is the best record that they could ask for if they win all of the remaining series. And even then, it's going to be really tough to make the playoffs because we saw last year 7-6 teams that tie. There's a whole tiebreaker rule, and because they got swept in their series, they have the worst probably NL record, even though they may hold a specific tiebreaker. So it's going to be really tough for the Gators to come back from this. But gotta believe, I still believe in the talent. These guys are MLW champions. So, still understand that these guys have immense talent level. Currently, they're just underperforming at the moment. And their competitiveness, their drive. They're not going to want to be on the bottom for long. So we'll see how it goes. We just need some time to think. If you're an Eagles fan, though, man, you are on top of the world. You're the big man on campus now, because now it looks like you're in the driver's seat to win the NL division. With a 3-0 sweep, all you have to do is maybe take a series win against either the Mallards or the D-backs, and you may have the NL locked down. The other team that you play that you're looking forward to on the AL side, I think, is the Pacific Predators, which is going to be a fun game, but again, a very winnable game. You're not playing the Wildcats, and the Cobras, that's also it's usually a tough matchup for the Eagles. So, looking out so far, Eagles are definitely in the driver's seat if you're for the NL. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Are you freaking out over this series? Let me know anything else in the comments, and I will see you all next time.